What's up, everyone? It's your favorite marketer and podcast host. My name is Prit. I am the author of 0 to 4 Figures. I'm a marketing strategy consultant and a digital entrepreneur as well. A few of the roles that I do take on: I'm a podcaster, YouTuber, Etsy shop owner, and a Skillshare teacher as well. All of the links are in the description box below if you would like to check it out. On this podcast, I shuffle between giving solo podcast episodes and bringing in experts to give you actionable steps on various marketing, business, and mindset strategies to help you grow the business you love. Today is a solo podcast episode where I'm going to be talking about the core belief of a successful entrepreneur. This is definitely an unshakable belief that I have about myself as well. And I believe this to be a core belief that every single entrepreneur who's been successful to have. And that is, they just trust themselves to find a way. Okay? In this podcast episode, I'm going to go over what exactly do I mean when I say we've got to trust ourselves to find a way. I also kind of talk about why is it so difficult for us to trust ourselves to find a way. And I also give some actionable advice on how you can start trusting yourself. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast episode, this is one of the most unshakable beliefs that I have about myself. I just know that regardless of what is in my path, any obstacle or anything that hinders my path, I have a very, very unshakable belief that I will just find a way. And let me first explain what I mean by that, okay? Because I think this is where a lot of people mess up. When I say that I trust myself to find a way, it doesn't mean that I have it all figured out. It does not mean that I have all the answers. It just means that when the time comes, either I will figure a solution or I know myself to ask for help. Help that can help me. Wow. Help that can help me with the problem solution. Trying to hit that 1,000 word count there, huh, Prit? Oh my God. Okay. But you get what I mean, guys, right? So I just either explicitly or implicitly, I don't know which one fits in this moment, but let's just use both. I just know that I'm going to find a way, even if it is me figuring out a way or I ask for help. I just know I will find a way out of this. And I think that's where a lot of people have a problem with, because when we look at other entrepreneurs, we can often think that, okay, maybe they have it all figured out and that's why they are where they are. Or maybe it's just a natural thing for them to come up with solutions. And trust me, it's not. It's not any of them, okay? They, just like you, are figuring things out as they go. But the difference is they just trust themselves. And the reason why it's so important for us to trust ourselves is because this entire journey is pretty volatile, right? Everything's pretty crazy around you. It's very rare that you will have some form of stability, especially in the early stages, right? And even as you grow, stability is a luxury. I gotta tell you, on this entrepreneurial journey, stability is definitely a luxury. And of course, when you have one thing to count on, when you have one thing that is stable and that is yourself, it just makes it a lot simpler to go through this journey because you have one thing that you can count on, okay? So that's why it's really, really important for you to trust yourself. Regardless of whether you can trust other people, I always say this, I don't have that level of trust in other people as I have in myself, I can't even say that about my own parents, and I love them very, very much. I can't even say that about them, but I just know that I can trust myself 1,000% or 1,000 into 1,000 into 1,000%. I can definitely just trust myself, and that's where we should all be. That's what we should all aspire to get to, okay? So that is what trusting yourself to find a way means. Now, let's talk about why we hesitate to trust ourselves. I think the reason why we struggle so much with finding a way to trust ourselves is because we believe what everybody else has spoken about us all through the years. And I'm pretty sure there have been negative comments surrounding you as you've grown up, right? Oh, you can't do this. Oh, you're not meant to do this. Oh, this is not possible by you. All of those negative self-talk, not just negative self-talk, but even by the people around you. It's easier to believe that, right? It's easier to believe the negative than it is in the positive. And there have been so many times in my life where there have been 100 positive comments and then one negative comment, and I just obsess over that one negative comment. And I think that's very inherent of our nature as humans. So I think one of the ways to trust yourself is to first understand that your lack of trust in yourself may be stemming from the talks that you've heard around you for years. And I think one of the ways to get out of it is to recognize that those talks don't represent reality, right? And I think moving past those negative self-talk and also talks from people around you is the first step to trusting yourself. So this is what I usually do. I usually just ask myself, well, am I not able to trust myself because someone else said I couldn't do it, or because there is a lack that I perceive in myself? And usually the answer is it's either someone else when I was 5 years old told me I couldn't do something, or I just believe it to be a lack on my end. And that's when I just go in to fix that little bit of gap that I have in my perception of myself, and then I'm back to trusting myself, you know? So I think that's very, very important for us to understand that whatever you've grown up listening, it's not the truth, okay? You can do it. You will do it. You will find a way to do it. You just will. I have that much trust in you. So you've got to have like 1,000,000 times more trust in yourself, okay? Another thing is we don't really take the time to acknowledge our wins so far. You know, when we hit one goal, we want to hit the next goal, and then we want to hit the next goal. We never really take the time to acknowledge that, yes, I have had this success, or yes, I did accomplish this. And what that does essentially is it kind of blurs out every single effort you've made. It blurs your strengths. It blurs everything that you have already achieved, you are capable of as well. So for me, it doesn't come naturally to celebrate my wins. It does not at all. Even after my book launched, you know, I had to like force myself. I'm like, oh, Prit, come on, celebrate, do this. Come on, let's take some time and celebrate. Let's soak in this. And it doesn't come naturally to me, and it doesn't come naturally to a lot of people, but I do believe that we need to take the time to acknowledge what we have done so far. And by doing so, I think it also raises our self-confidence. That's why I think it's very important for us to acknowledge our wins, for us to look at them as they are, and I think use them as a reminder of how far we have come and how much we are capable of achieving. All right? So that is definitely another reason why I think we hesitate to trust ourselves. Another reason that I found we hesitate to trust ourselves is because we think it's all on us. Like I said earlier, we think we have to figure it out. It's not true. You can ask for help. That's also you figuring out a solution, right? Asking for help or finding the right people who can actually make a solution or create a solution or help you with the solution. Okay, so it's not all on you. Trusting yourself means that you just know you will find a solution, and that solution could be anything. Could be you doing the work, could be you improving your skills, could be you asking for help as well. Okay, that's that. Now, one of the ways that I believe you can trust yourself is first acknowledge your strengths. Not just acknowledge, but actually truly understand what your strengths are. The more you can understand what your strengths are, the easier it actually becomes for you to trust yourself, because you're like in your mind, you're like, oh, well, this is my strength. So that means I can achieve this, or I can do this, you know? And it's not just the hard skills, even acknowledge your soft skills. whatever it may be, take the time to understand your strengths and your capabilities. That's one of the easiest ways for you to begin to trust yourself. Okay? Another way is to reaffirm to yourself time and again. Okay? This is something that I personally do. I may not know what to do now, and that's okay. I will find a way. I always do. This is something that I repeat to myself every single time I feel scared about an obstacle or I feel scared that I might not find a solution. I always tell myself, I find a solution. I always do. I will find a solution. I will find a way. I always do. And just by telling myself this, it really calms me. And I think in a way, it reminds me that, Prit, you've got to get out of that negative self-thought, and you've got to just understand that you are capable. And I believe in you, whether it's myself telling myself. And that itself is so powerful in so many ways. I really think that not just entrepreneurs should have this core belief. I believe that every single person out there needs to have this core belief in themselves as well. Just trust yourself to find a way. Because you will, because it is in your capability. And if that's one thing that you can take away from this podcast episode, I really want it to be that it is in your capability to find a way. You've just got to trust it. You've just got to trust it. Okay? That actually brings me to the end of this podcast episode. If you really like this podcast episode, I think that you will like my book, 0 to 4 Figures. It's basically a compilation of 61 stories and lessons from my entrepreneurial journey. It's got chapters like self-love, relationships, business strategy, marketing, what else? Success mindset, growth mindset, money mindset, and self-love. I don't know if I mentioned that to begin with. But yeah, I really do hope that you can take the time to read it. I wrote it for you to help other entrepreneurs with their journey. You can search for it on Amazon, 0 to 4 Figures, or there will be a link in the description box below. You can just click it. I'm also available on various other platforms. I'm there on Instagram at The Marketing Nomad. I'm there on Etsy, The Marketing Nomad CO for company. LinkedIn, Prithvi Madhukar, that's my full name. Where else? Skillshare, Prithvi Madhukar again. And then YouTube, The Marketing Nomad is one channel. The Marketing Nomad Show podcast is another channel. So there's basically a video version of whatever I share with you on the podcast. So you can always choose which format you prefer. Other than that, well, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for listening all the way up until here. I hope you're staying safe, staying healthy, and I will catch you in my next podcast episode. Bye-bye.